From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update.
Hi, I'm Kylie Conway, and this is your News 8 Daily 8 for Monday, March 6th. Another nice day today. Partly cloudy skies. Winds are going to gust close to 30 miles per hour as mild air builds in. There is an isolated chance of an evening sprinkle as a cold front moves in across the area. Today, high temp is in the upper 60s, but boy, do we cool off for the rest of the week. A woman is dead after a shooting early this morning on the east side of Indianapolis. Police haven't announced an arrest, but do say they're talking to a person of interest. It happened just after 2 at Oak Avenue and Arlington Avenue. IMPD says officers found the woman in the middle of the road, shot to death. They are questioning a man who was with her. Investigators have not said how the two knew each other or who shot the woman. To St. Joseph County, where police say a man is dead after a shooting in downtown South Bend. According to police, it happened at the Wayne Street Garage near Michigan Street just before 11:30 last night. Police say they were called on a report of shots fired and found the man with a gunshot wound. They say he was pronounced dead at the scene. No word yet on his identity or any information on the suspect. Police do ask anybody who typically parks in that garage to park somewhere else today. They say it will likely be closed for several hours for the investigation. In Allen County, police are trying to figure out why a man went off the road, hitting a pole and a tree in a deadly crash. They say it appears alcohol and speed were not factors. It happened late yesterday afternoon at Anthony Boulevard and Tilden Avenue in Fort Wayne. Police haven't released the name of the man killed. Just north of there in DeKalb County, a memorial fund is set up in the memory of a state trooper killed while trying to end a chase. State police say a fleeing car hit Master Trooper James Bailey on I-69 as Bailey was putting out stop sticks. Police arrested the driver. In a Facebook post, state police are thanking people for their support. There is a memorial growing on a patrol car, flowers there. There's also a monument to fallen officers. The post says state troopers are truly grateful for the community's love and respect. The Indiana Fallen Heroes Foundation has set up the memorial fund. We do have a link to donate online. You can find it in this story in the As Seen on Wish TV section of wishtv.com. A Greenwood man wanted in several states for defrauding car repair customers is now in custody. The Johnson County Sheriff's Office says police tracked down John Bragg II in Beaufort, North Carolina. As we've reported, Bragg does a hot rod and restoration work out of J.B. Bugg's Trick Truck and Rod in Whiteland. One couple told News 8 Bragg took $14,000 to repair a rare VW bus, then disappeared before finishing the work. Investigators say Bragg is now waiting to be sent back to Indiana. Officials say he also has warrants in Florida and West Virginia. The First Lady arrives in Indiana this afternoon on a once-delayed trip to Valparaiso. It's part of the administration's push to highlight elements of the recent State of the Union address. Jill Biden is set to speak at Ivy Tech at 1 o'clock local time, 2 o'clock Eastern. The White House has indicated she'll talk about the administration's push for learning programs that are connected to career paths. Energy Secretary David Turk and Labor Secretary nominee Julie Su are also slated to attend. Our team will be there too. Look out for reports tonight at News 8 at 5 and 6. Officials say a second Norfolk Southern train derailment in Ohio does not pose any public health risks. The company says 28 of 212 cars on a southbound train derailed between Dayton and Columbus Saturday evening. It says none of the cars was carrying hazardous materials, but that the crash still sparked a shelter-in-place order for anyone living within 1,000 feet of the derailment. An investigation is underway to figure out what caused the crash. Indiana Congressman Jim Baird is urging state leaders to stop shipments of contaminated soil to a landfill near Russellville. That soil was exposed to toxic chemicals when the first train derailed in Ohio. Baird spoke to News 8's government reporter Garrett Berquist for Sunday's edition of All Indiana Politics.
Congressman Baird wants changes to reporting requirements anytime hazardous material is moved to or through a particular location. He says he's not worried about the landfill itself, but officials need to be kept in the loop.
This is not uncommon to put it in a site, a certified site, like the Heritage Environmental in Russellville. The EPA does certify those facilities. It's just that I think this was a little too speedy, too rapid, and too quick without taking the necessary precautions.
We looked into Heritage Environmental Services past. We found some low-level violations at the Russellville site. They don't appear to be leakages or anything of that level of concern. How confident are you that Heritage will handle the soil in a way that doesn't put people at risk?
I'm comfortable with that. They've been at that facility almost 50, 60 years, and that's my home county, so never had any problems in the past.
What's been your experience working with them, both as a member of Congress and before that as a state legislator?
Well, I'm just aware of the materials that they handle, and the process that they use is for taking care of that kind of material, hazardous material. They fix the bottom of those storage facilities with clay, and then they put a membrane that prevents any leaching or any of those materials getting out in the regular soil.
All Indiana Politics airs at 9:30 Sunday mornings exclusively on Wish TV. Garrett Bergquist, Wish TV, wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook.
And a local expert says we should already be thinking about Sunday's start of daylight saving time. The clocks will spring forward. News 8's Hannah Bordeaux heard from a doctor who says we should start managing the change today.
This doctor says start adjusting your sleep schedule, going to bed about 15 minutes earlier every day this week until you reach an hour to help your body adjust to losing an hour on Saturday night. So mark your calendar. The clocks change at 2 in the morning on Sunday, so that will then become 3 a.m. And not getting enough sleep can be bad for your health.
Many studies have shown that daylight savings time is associated with an increased risk for heart disease, such as atrial fibrillation, mood disorders, such as depression, learning issues, vigilance issues, increased risk for accidents. So there are several negative impacts of daylight saving times on health.
That's Dr. Praveen Vora. He's the director of the Sleep Center at Ascension St. Vincent Heart Center, and he says the switch to daylight saving time impacts the circadian rhythm, better known as the night and day cycle for our brains. According to the New England Journal of Medicine, traffic crashes increased by around 8% on the Monday after daylight saving time starts because of the loss of sleep. Doctors say the adjustment can be especially tough on kids and can cause a lack of concentration for a lot of people. Last year, the Senate passed the Sunshine Protection Act of 2021. It would make daylight saving time the official standard time and eliminate falling back at all. But the House never voted to pass that bill. Last week, it was reintroduced in the Senate, and a similar bill was introduced in the House. If passed by Congress and approved by the president, then springing forward and falling back would end. For now, this week, start going to bed a little bit earlier and just prep your body for the change this weekend. Back to you.
Again, that was Hannah Bordeaux. Indianapolis International Airport is celebrating a winning streak. For 11 straight years, it's been voted the best airport by Airports Council International North America. The Best Airport in North America award is based on survey input from passengers. They rate the airport based on 30 key performance indicators like ease of finding your way to and from the airport, check-in and baggage check, shopping and dining, security check, and overall cleanliness of the facilities. The governor of Kentucky is thanking crews as they clean up weekend storm damage. Kentucky authorities say at least 5 people died when heavy rain and winds downed trees and power lines and damaged homes. Governor Andy Beshear visited some of the hardest hit areas yesterday in the western part of the state.
The local response has been impressive, and that from local emergency management to county government, they have moved quickly, and that they are doing a really good job.
More than 130,000 homes and businesses are still without power in Kentucky. Governor Beshear warns it may take days to restore electricity. Former President Trump wrapped up the annual Conservative Political Action Conference with a fiery speech focused on his 2024 campaign. He gave the headlining address of the conference on Saturday. Trump cast himself as the only Republican candidate who can build on his White House legacy, but did not directly critique his rivals. He told the crowd he's engaged in his final battle as he runs for a return to the White House.
In 2016, I declared, I am your voice. Today I add, I am your warrior. I am your justice. And for those who have been wronged and betrayed, I am your retribution. I am your retribution.
According to the annual CPAC straw poll, 62% of attendees say Trump is their top choice for the Republican nominee. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis came in second with 20% of the vote. Several new reports say Trump is formally asking a federal court to prevent former Vice President Mike Pence from speaking to a grand jury in the investigation into efforts to overturn the 2020 election. According to the New York Times, CNN, and others, the Trump legal team filed the request Friday, claiming executive privilege over Pence's testimony. It's not clear how long the court will take to decide. Depending on the ruling, the case could also go through the appeals process and end up at the Supreme Court. The Hoosiers could slip while Purdue is likely to stay in the top 5 when the men's college basketball rankings come out today. Purdue had to fight back after losing a 24-point lead against Illinois yesterday. Free throws sealed the 76-71 win and the outright Big Ten regular season title. The Boilermakers are now the first team in 9 years to win the title by 3 or more games. Next up is the Big Ten tournament. Purdue is the number 1 seed and has a double bye in the quarterfinals on Friday. 15th ranked IU wraps up their regular season with a win for its seniors. The Hoosiers rallied late to beat Michigan 75-73 in overtime. The victory follows a blowout loss to Iowa, which head coach Mike Woodson called the worst day of the season. Yesterday's victory means, like Purdue, IU will get byes for the first 2 rounds of the Big Ten tournament and will not play until Friday. To the Pacers, a last-second shot sends the blue and gold home with a win. Tyrese Halliburton scored 29 points last night against the Bulls, including a three-pointer with 2.7 seconds left. A game-tying shot attempt by Chicago bounced off the rim. Pacers win 125-122. The team takes on the Eastern Conference foes, the 76ers, tonight at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. And to business headlines. Pet food prices in America were up 15% year over year in January, according to recent data from the Federal Reserve Bank of Minneapolis. Fox News polled Americans, and a minority said they may have to give up their pet if they rise more. Still, some owners said they would do whatever it takes to keep their pets. The leisure and hospitality industry is rebuilding its workforce after cutting back during the pandemic. The hospitality and healthcare industries combined to add 207,000 workers in January, or nearly half of that month's private sector gains. Hiring remains strong among some of the country's biggest companies. Chipotle Mexican Grill, Inc. said in January that the restaurant chain plans to hire 15,000 workers in the U.S. As March Madness begins, restaurants make a mad dash to snag fans. Menu specials and deals are in the works to boost sales both on and off premise during the NCAA tournament. Buffalo Wild Wings is offering deals and wall-to-wall TVs. Qdoba and TGI Fridays are also having March Madness specials. Nestle, Kellogg, Tyson Foods, and Gordon's Seafood are among the food companies leaning into the air fryer boom to appeal to consumers. Nearly 60% of U.S. households own an air fryer, it's according to Nestle. Sales of the cooking appliance have been soaring since 2017, and they received an extra boost during the early days of the pandemic as people cooked more at home. And Costco is maintaining the low rotisserie chicken prices. The membership warehouse has kept its rotisserie chicken price at $4.99 because it is an investment in low prices to drive membership, to drive the sales in a big way. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway. Online at wishtv.com and follow us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update on demand for even more on demand and on the go. Connect with Wish TV on Facebook at wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening. And be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.